Hey everybody, Runham here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of the RimWorld Speedrun Challenge. If you have any questions about the nature of this challenge or the scenario itself, please go back and watch the intro video linked in the description. I'm not going to go over those rules here. Let's get going. First thing I want to do is to set up some work priorities. So firefight, bed rust, basic are all work priorities I usually prioritize. Doctor as well. I'm not going to have any wardening or handling. I will have a minimum amount of cooking, some mining, some smithing, some research, no art. It is in fact a community with very little art. Then before I unpause anything, because this is in fact a speedrun challenge, I want to make sure that every single one of my pawns has something significant to work on immediately. So Bubbaloo is going to be mining. I just have to find the closest steel. Oh, here's some steel. And Lulu will join him as well. They're both miners. So they both have queued up to go mine. Win here does a little bit of plants. She's also a researcher, but at least at the start, we don't need research, we need trees. So she will queue up to cut some trees. And then JD here is our constructor. So if I zoom out, here is a structure made of steel that we can break down. And we'll let everyone start to roll. So the first thing I want to work on is food and shelter. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. So ideally, I would like to get NPM and maybe a very basic power source going, as well as some beds. That's my goal. So what I'll do here is set up a little stockpile. Because I'm going to be min-maxing as much as I can, flooring is not something I'm going to employ at all. I will not have floors in this community whatsoever. Well, this is a dump stockpile. That would be incorrect. Let's fix that. And as we are cutting wood, I'm going to be putting it away. So JD is going to be removing flooring. We're going to stockpile a bunch of steel. Anytime there's enough to haul it back, I'll haul it back. Lulu is the slower miner of the two. So let's pause a moment and lay out some plans here. If I put my NPM machine, let's see. I'm not that worried about I don't plan on, I guess I should say it, I'm not really planning on cooking very much. So I just need a space for a small kitchen, a small comfortable kitchen to work in. So that area right there is a decent sized mini kitchen. I will install a stove, and the reason I'm installing a stove is for Psychite tea, not so much for anything else. And I'll forbid that. So this will be my micro kitchen. Additionally, I'll put a butcher table in here. But like I said, I won't be cooking, so I'm not really worried about the blood. That also means that I'm going to need some freezers. So I'll put the freezers in here and a door in there. That's going to be the sort of layout of my kitchen, I think. Which means the dining room, rec room will be up here. I have a lot of trees to cut down, in other words. Let's make sure there's plenty of stuff to mine. Bubbaloo, haul that back. After Bubbaloo hauls that back, I'm going to find some components. Here is some components. Oh, before I do that, let's go ahead and mark the areas with mega spiders as off limits. So I'll invert that and go ahead and restrict a bunch of stuff. So we're going to restrict them to area 1 so that they don't go mindlessly marching into the bugs, getting themselves killed. Would not want a start that grisly. That'd be bad. So a steel butcher's table is one of the first things I'm going to make. And then I also have to decide on, let's go ahead and add a wood generator here. So this room here is going to be heated. So in the winter, we'll be able to use that zone for heat. So I'll put my power generation along these lines. I don't know how many. I don't think I'm going to get more than 2 wood generators. So that will be the limit. Lulu, I'm going to change what you're working on. You are going to crank out some short bows. That way we can hunt. So JD is making a butcher table. Lulu is making the bows for hunting. And then hopefully we can get the NPM machine. So Bubbaloo, let's head north and start digging at the compacted machinery. Another thing I want to get done really early on is a stone cutter table. I'll make it out of steel as well. Making them out of steel so that they're less flammable in case of home fires. I'm going to start hauling steel into the NPM machine. Forbid that. And start removing more flooring for steel. I guess at this point we can go ahead and do a Butcher Forever queue. And ideally, I'd want to get Win researching somewhat quickly. All right, so I have no other tasks there. Once we get, well, we could do a quick calculation of initially how many components we need. So we want to get NPM and the wood generator up. So that's 2 and 3, so 6 will do. 5 is the minimum. But I think what I'll do is I'll end up mining all of this stuff and then hauling it all back in one go. All right, JD, what I want you to work on is removing more flooring for the steel. Trying to min-max my efforts here. All right, Win. Grab a bow. So Bubbaloo, I believe, is a meleeer. Yep, he is a meleeer. But the other ones can go ranged. So with these bows, we should be able to hunt somewhat effectively. That's probably enough steel. Yep, enough steel for one trip. The short bow queues are done. JD is going to equip a short bow and then build the stone cutter table. Lulu is going to go back to mining, but really soon we're going to have her carving up marble blocks. We'll use marble as our building material as it is naturally more beautiful. Bubbaloo just finished his mining queue. So JD, I want you to go hunt these ibex. I'm not going to hunt the gazelle just in case they turn on me. That's a lot. That's a death stack of gazelle right there. And once we get one gazelle down, we can build the NPM and build the power generator. And set everyone up to hunt. I will need a dead body depository. Alright, Bubbaloo, I'm sorry. I wish you could just stargaze, but I'm a little strapped for time here. Now, the amount of time to get off the planet, I think, is probably somewhat significantly less than 2 years. I don't think it's going to take me 2 years, is what I'm trying to say. But regardless of that fact, I'm not going to waste time. I'm definitely going to plan on getting out of here as soon as I can. That is part of the speedrun challenge. I don't want to make it take any longer. Okay, we don't need to go ahead and move this meat. It will be stored here. So we'll set up a raw food stockpile here of preferred for raw food. Getting the NPM up. I'm going to work on the hopper and then the wood fire generator. Bubbaloo is deeping in some cave, getting some compacted machinery. Lulu, you look like you need to craft some marble blocks. So the stone cutter table will use marble forever. Lulu, get working on that. Bubbaloo, there is more to mine here. I guess it's fine for... Oh, let's equip the bow first. I guess it's fine for Wind to be... We don't have a research bench just yet. She'll help to stockpile everything. Watching the sunset, that's cute, but no. Everyone is starting to eat raw, so we better fill the hopper and refuel the generator. Alright, now we are not going to be eating raw, that's good. Risking no food poisoning. We're starting to get marble walls, but because I don't want to fall... I don't think I have time to build a shelter, but I also don't want to fall asleep on the ground. Let's go ahead and before everyone goes to sleep... Bubbaloo, that's gross. Why would you do it like that? I'm hoping for some decent beds here, but... I might not get my wish. Oh, one excellent bed. That is a start of something. I think I'm going to make the kitchen a little bit larger to store more food. Yes, I'll be forced to air condition a larger space, so it comes with a downside, but I can live with that downside. Additionally, I did start with an AI core that I need to protect. We're hauling it in now. Bubbaloo, you did not finish the mining job up there, but that's okay. I need steel too. Wynn is just about done with hauling. Now, for the diets here, let's go ahead and select a diet of paste. Delete, so everyone's going to be set on paste. I don't want anyone getting food poisoning, so everything else is getting denied. That way they're not going to eat random berries. That's chiefly my worry. And I'm also going to set up a little recreation here. So that people aren't wandering away for the rec. Set up a micro table as well. JD will be in the excellent bed. That makes sense, because he probably has the most work to do. I forced... Ooh, Lulu. I'm fairly certain I have you on paste. Paste isn't paste, oddly enough. So let's make paste paste. Who knew that the default priorities were wrong? Alright, so we have an excellent table, and we will work on proper dining chairs. And that would be day one, guys. So I feel like, I don't know, pretty productive. Fairly productive. I do need to get some refrigeration. I'm also going to add, so let's start designing the base while they sleep. I'm going to have it go on slow. So I was thinking of having a hospital here. If we use the rough marble patches, maybe I'll just have it like that. If I use the rough marble patches, it will stay sterile. So that could be a hospital. Then right at the kitchen's exit should be the rec dining room. So we'll lay that out like this. That's probably big enough for a rec dining room. And then I'm going to want a research area. So I could put research here. This is, again, slightly more sterile. So let's say something like this is research. I might need more room than that, but that's big enough for now. And a stock room. I want to build it out this way. I don't want to store that much stuff. I want to be poor, because the poorer I am, the less serious the sort of attacks are going to be. So what I'll do is I'll have the heat room spill into the stock room, so that the stock room can spill heat into bedrooms. I'm hoping that I get some relationships quickly, but you never know. I'll make 4 bedrooms for now. And that is a very rough sort of base design. So the heat room could be even larger in case I want to add additional power generation to it. We'll see. Could have it like this. That way we can move about a little bit better. Now I think I'd prefer to tap any geothermal or solar. I have a geothermal pretty close by, so that would be a much better priority for me. But for now, it will just be some wood burning because it's cheap and easy. Okay, we can speed up some time. So I would say probably the dining room is the next enclosed area I want to work on. The dining rec room, I should call it. So Bubbaloo goes back to mining steel. Win, we need to get you a research bench. We can also work on that pretty soon. As soon as JD's up. That can be his top priority. Okay, JD's up. Let's get the research bench going, because the sooner I start on the research, the better. So we'll queue up smithing. Ideally, I want to get gun turrets as fast as I possibly can because they will aid greatly in the defense. So despite it might seem a little counterintuitive not to push towards spaceflight, but without gun turrets, we're really not going to be able to be spacefaring anyway. We won't be able to protect ourselves, protect our investments, so to speak. So Wynn here should be researching now, and she is. We'll go ahead and make sure to start working on the air conditioning and freezing and all that jazz. And he says he needs more steel. All right, JD, instead of working on that, let's work on some walls. Bubbaloo will bring the steel in for you. Perfect. Now I want to roof this off. Maybe add one more hopper. A little bit of recreation isn't a terrible idea. I'm going to move the pin though. They all need to get a little bit of rec in. I don't have it scheduled at the moment because I'm not super worried about the scheduling. They might be a little bit more productive if I scheduled, or at least go into relationships without a proper rec room. It's not that much of a priority. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to reinstall this and rotate it. So we'll use the rec room as a very, very temporary barracks, mostly out of necessity. Let's bring these coolers down to some sort of frozen level. And additionally, for us to work the butchery in here, we're going to want lights. Now I have the power generation central, so I don't really have to lay cables just yet. And that's by design. Really soon we'll have our first few chairs. So I know I need a lot of marble blocks to get this base going, but I also don't want Lulu to pointlessly crank out marble blocks too. Like so if the I might end up doing is having her work on some mining. So here we go. Now we're actually sitting down and eating, which is a very nice change of pace. Instead of working on these chairs, I think working on the walls so that we're technically sleeping indoors would be better. Okay, so our freezer is now frozen. I just noticed that I don't have my temperature mod installed, so I'll work on that. I'm going to move this around a little bit. Alright, Lulu, we're going to need to do a little bit more hunting. So she is the pawn that probably has the least productive job at the moment. Bubbaloo's job is pretty important, grabbing steel, but she's just making marble blocks and we have plenty for current construction, so I'm going to have her do some hunting. And then also it helps to train up everyone on on shooting ability. She shouldn't be this bad of a shooter, but she is. What I'm going to do, just to make hunting a little bit easier, oh, there we go, is to fatally wound one, and I need a dead body stockpile. I'll label this later, but let's haul this in, because this buck here is definitely going to bleed to death. And another night of no formal shelter, but progress. Progress, definitely. Alright, so that buck's dead. We can butcher it in the morn. As long as their moods are staying up, that is what I'm most concerned about. Because a mental break would be quite problematic. Now, instead of butchering, someone else, Lulu, will do the hauling there. So Miss Lulu. What I want to do is hunt all of the same type, so I have all the same type of leather. That's another thought to have, so that I don't end up requiring to make patch leather, because patch leather is junk. Oh, they're gonna have a party. I'll allow it. Add a party spot in. They might need a little manual help on how to hunt, or they're never going to be able to attend their own party. Alright, Win here should not hunt anymore. She should just pretty much be full-time research. Alright, as long as they're attending the party. We don't really have a formal room yet, so it's hard to tell. But no, it looks like they're attending the party. And this will also help cement some relationships, some friendships, for better or for worse. Alright, I'm going to put a door here. It's going to be a marble door. Oh, there you go, Lulu. Alright, this is plenty of food for a while. We're not going to need any for quite some time. I'm also going to want a door between me and my stockroom. I should have planned that a little bit better, but so be it. And now we'll be in a formal barracks for tonight, which is great. That definitely has not been the case so far. Let's get another light up in here too. And a cut plants. We'll get rid of all the little plants around. Alright, Bubbaloo and Lulu. Let's have you haul some steel. And the next thing I want to work on is the bedrooms. I'm really hoping that a relationship blossoms before I finish making these bedrooms, so I am going to halt 2 of them or at least the exterior walls for 2 of them. And ideally, all right, ideally, we'll have the research room down here, a dedicated one. So this is the first night they're not sleeping outside, which is great. And I ought to start working on roofing up my stockpile as well. My stock room. Oh, Bubbaloo, look at you. Being very industrious. So 2 days have passed, 2 full days have passed, and I feel pretty good about my start here. This is about all the time I have. So if you have any input or feedback for me, drop me a line. If you plan on trying this out for yourself, I'd love to hear about your stories, either through Discord or YouTube comments or links, stuff like that. I wish you the absolute best of luck if you are trying this out for yourself indeed. If you still wonder about the parameters and limitations of this series, as I said at the beginning of the video, please check out the intro video or the link in the description because that has the full details about what this scenario is all about. And I hope you tune in next time. Thank you for watching. Adios.